Welcome back to Theresa.is.Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. And if you're new here, welcome. I have an awful garbage mouth where I tend to use fuck as a comma. If you're not into that or weird shit in general, bitch, this is not the place for you. Feel free to exit the video here. No harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. If you want to jump straight to the overall review of the products, I'll leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead. I recorded this about 7 times already, and every time I do it, I start crying. And because I'm a bitch. I hit 10,000 subscribers recently, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And yes, in the grand scheme of things, it's not 1 million subscribers, but I don't give a fuck. Who cares? The fact that 10,000 of you guys actually like me and subscribe to me and want to listen to my bullshit is unbelievable. Like, you have no idea. It's the craziest feeling and it's the most fucking coolest feeling, and I'm so, don't want to cry. I'm so lucky to have you guys in my life, and I'm thankful to have a nice audience that, one, supports me, and it's just a cool motherfucking bunch. I love you guys. You have no idea. Not only do you leave me really nice comments, but you send me really awesome messages. You tag me in a bunch of shit. You send stuff to my P.O. box. You join my Discord. You're part of our Miserable 3 podcast. You guys mean so much to me. Oh, fuck. You guys mean so much to me that I'm just very, very happy that I reached this milestone, something that I thought I would never see ever in my time on YouTube. Honestly, I thought I would probably do YouTube for a couple months and then realize that, like, I just didn't have the thick enough skin for it and didn't quit. But you guys have inspired me to keep going and to do better and to keep pumping out really just entertaining content. And I thank you for that. I hit 10,000 subscribers. I'm beside myself right now, and it's all thanks to you. So whether you were here when I had less than 10 subscribers or you're here when I passed 10,000, I love and appreciate you, and just know that you mean everything to me. And I look forward to growing this garbage person army. So thank you. I appreciate it. Now that we get all that bullshit out of the way, when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I wanted to celebrate. Me and Alex decided to go to a restaurant that we love to go to when we have good news. The last time we were actually at that restaurant is when we found out that we were going to be moving into this new apartment. So it's been about 2 months since we've gone to this restaurant. So I was thinking, you know what? I want to do something fun. I hit 10,000 subscribers. This is fucking awesome. I want to go have like a really nice meal. Like, I want to have like a good night out. Like, this is what I want. So we wind up going to this Thai restaurant. I knew something wasn't right. And normally it was at nighttime and the restaurant was not full. There was only 1 table and it was 2 older women talking. The restaurant's not very big. So instead of sitting on top of them, we decided to sit on the other side of the restaurant, you know, because I'm courteous and I like to give people their privacy. So we're sitting on the other end of the restaurant. We're looking over the menu. And now I can't help but to hear what these older women were talking about. I guess the owner of the restaurant came over and was asking them how do they enjoy their meal. The one woman at the table, who I can only describe to you, she just looked like an old witch, like, but in the best way possible. I see this woman say to the owner very loud,
I loved the food so much that when I put my hands over it, I could feel the love. I could feel it in every grain of rice, in every noodle on my dish. I could feel it.
The owner of the restaurant just says this.
Oh.
I could weep with joy because of how satisfied my soul is.
She sounded like a fucking Disney character. I was like, what is this? She then started to cry hysterically, sobbing at this dish, holding it up as if she was holding up Simba. Like that. So she's holding up this dish and she's like,
I could weep.
I'm looking at Alex and Alex is just smiling at me saying, this is your story. So this woman is shaking her hands and crying at this noodle/rice dish, and then she puts it down. In between sobs, the woman says,
Can I get this to go?
I would love just to follow her around to every and any restaurant ever, because I'm always gonna get a show when I'm sitting with her. Holy fuck. Now, throughout this whole show that I'm watching, one song kept playing over and over again, and it was from Queen, You're My Best Friend. However, it wasn't on repeat, so eventually, once the song stopped, it would stop for about 30 seconds, and then somebody from the back would go in and then press the button on the stereo, and then it would play it again. So throughout my whole meal, I probably heard that song about 70 fucking times. And I thought to myself, how fitting. I'm here to celebrate a really very major milestone in my opinion in the YouTube community, and I get to experience this. I feel like the universe was smiling down on me. In any case, I want to say thank you again. I love and adore your fucking faces. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation, which is this little boy right here. But before I give you my overall thoughts, let me read you a little bit about the product first. Luminous Foundation retails for $38. Luminous Foundation by Anastasia Beverly Hills is a water-resistant liquid foundation that creates a luminous natural finish. The radiant formula delivers long-wearing, medium coverage, yet still feels so lightweight and looks ultra-fresh. This is the coverage you've been waiting for. Luminous Foundation looks so great on its own. There's no need to set with a powder. Available in many completely natural shades, Luminous Foundation blurs any imperfection, including discolorization and unevenness, without caking or masking the skin's natural radiance. With a seamless application, this easy-to-blend formula leaves the skin with a perfect-looking complexion that is free of flashback or oxidation. So for $38, what exactly do you get? You get this wonderful glass bottle. You get about 1 fluid ounce of the product, and it comes in a matte black pump. First of all, the packaging I'm not super in love with, and I know I just talked about this recently in my makeup bingo video, and if you haven't seen it, I will link it up in the corner over here. I just don't like that this is yelling at me. And this packaging kind of just feels like hipster bullshit trash. You know, I feel like this is the packaging that I'm gonna see in 30 years from now, when everything is literally stripped of its beauty, and then we're just gonna see things that just say what it is. I feel like it's just not very on brand for Anastasia Beverly Hills, although I will note that Norvina did mention that, you know, the reason why she chose this loud packaging, this is easier for makeup artists to have in their kit, which, you know, I guess I understand, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like I know the difference between foundation versus concealer versus my eyeshadow palette, but who am I to judge? I could just be being a dick by saying that, but whatever. In any case, I'm not turned on by this by any means. I don't want to fuck it. I'm not really into it. It kind of is a turn off for me. However, I was very intrigued about the contents in this bottle because as somebody who is a dry Dunkaroo cookie dusted bitch, I'm looking for some motherfucking radiance in my life. When this first launched, I was super fucking excited to actually go to Ulta to try out my shades. I wound up, I'm actually going to show you a little swatch right here. I was between 140, 150, and 160. Ultimately, I chose 140 because I felt like the other two colors were either too yellow toned on me. The one thing I will note is that it has really interesting undertones, and the undertones were kind of more on the warmer side. I didn't really notice any true cool tone options that were in my shade range. I felt like this was kind of like the lesser of the three. The first thing I noticed about this foundation is that the consistency is a little bit on the thicker side. She's a little bit of a thick bitch, but it's not super fucking heavy, but it's definitely not lightweight. Also, the texture of the foundation almost feels gel-like. It's actually very comfortable. When I first used this product, I moisturized the shit out of my face because my skin tends to be normal to dry. However, right now it's a little bit dry because I don't leave my apartment and I'm just always in air conditioning. So it's literally sucking everything out of my face right now. But I'm okay with that because I don't step outside my apartment unless it's 65 degrees. So with that said, I moisturized the shit out of my face, applied Tatcha Silk Canvas, which is my #1 favorite primer of all time, and then I applied this with the sponge. I was so fucking in love. It was
disgusting.
Like, this was beautiful foundation. And with my sponge application, I really didn't use that much product. I felt that the product seeped into my skin so nicely. It didn't sit on top of my skin. It actually melted into my face. It looked like my skin, but better. This foundation is not overly radiant, say like the IT Cosmetics CC cream, where it kind of almost makes you look like a greasy oil slick. This just makes like your skin has a natural glow. It's probably the best way to describe it. It's so fucking pretty. At that point, I was wearing it for about 5 to 6 hours. And my biggest complaint out of that whole thing, sometimes it would start to kind of settle into my fine line. So I have my Student Loan Stress line up here, and then I kind of have like these weird jowl lines over on my side. And I found that it was kind of sinking in a little bit, but when I would pat it out with the finger, it would disappear and it would be fine and lovely and it was all good. I used a little bit of setting powder also when I set my face. I don't like to go too crazy with powder only because it just drives me the fuck out. And the one thing I will say is that upon the first application, I mean, I'm not going to say that it was completely transfer proof. I didn't feel any sort of tackiness on my face. It dried down really nice. My skin actually kind of almost felt very silky and smooth. I loved it. When I tried the foundation again, I decided to do two different things. One, use a different primer, another primer that I have been completely in love with, which is the Ole Henriksen Banana Brightening Primer. And I decided to use a brush with this because a lot of people were saying online that they liked a brush application than a sponge. So for half of my my face, I used Tatcha Silk Canvas and a sponge, and the other side of my face, I used a brush and the Ole Henriksen primer. And I think upon today's application, I feel like I had a little bit of issues with it. So technically this foundation is a medium coverage but buildable. I personally don't like to build this foundation up. I think when you start building it up, it actually kind of comes off a little bit cakey. So I find that a little bit goes a long way. So today I actually started kind of building up on both sides. It feels a little bit weighted on my skin, which is really crazy because when the first time I tried it, only using about a pump and a half worth, it felt completely lightweight on my skin. It felt comfortable and gorgeous and I loved it. Today it feels like I definitely have product on my face. The other thing I noticed too is that especially on the side that had the Ole Henriksen primer, it was definitely settling into a lot of my smile lines over here as well as my student loan stress line. Not so much on the Tatcha side, which I found quite interesting considering the first time that I wore it, I only wore Tatcha and it started kind of settling into my fine lines. This one though, I would pat it out and then within 20 minutes it would appear again. The other thing I noticed is that this foundation slightly oxidizes, not by a huge amount, not like the Urban Decay one that literally turned me into a fucking Cheeto. The other thing I noticed about this foundation is that I cannot wear this when it's warm outside. This is a foundation I feel like that I'm going to utilize the fuck out of when it's the fall and the winter and probably the spring. But in the summertime, this is a little bit too heavy for my skin because I noticed when I had my glasses resting on my nose and I went down to the basement today, which was technically a little humid in the laundry room, when I came back upstairs to my apartment, my foundation was sliding all around my nose and right over here in my cheek area where my glasses sit on my face. And that was so fucking annoying. I had such high hopes for it because it actually dried down pretty fast in my skin and it didn't seem to be transferring. But I guess a little bit of moisture to my skin is just gonna fuck me up. So that was really insane. But I wanna show you right now what it looks like. Mind you, I have had this on since about 5:30 this morning, so it's actually well over the 12-hour mark. Okay. I'm gonna get you right up in here so you can actually see what the fuck I'm looking at. So you can see that I kind of lost a little bit of coverage over here. I have some of my redness poking through that wasn't there earlier today. Up here though, it actually doesn't look too bad. Of course, I mean, you see a little bit of my fine lines poking through, but for the most part, it doesn't look super bad though. My nose, there's a little bit of dryness right here, but again, doesn't really look super terrible. I do have some foundation over in this area of my mouth, but however, around my chin and like kind of like all over here, it's completely gone. So it's actually really interesting how this foundation breaks down, so to speak. But overall though, for over a 12-hour wear, it doesn't look terrible. You could kind of see like what I was talking about earlier, how a lot of the foundation kind of pulled there from where my glasses was sitting. So if you are a glasses wearer just like myself, you're gonna come into a lot of problems there unless you probably powder the shit out of your nose, but then by that point you're making yourself into a matte cookie, so nobody got time for that. But overall though, it doesn't look that bad. $38, I actually really like this foundation a lot, probably more so than the Pat McGrath foundation. That's for damn sure. And I knew that I was obsessed with this foundation upon the first application because my skin looked just so fucking good. Like it just looked, I looked like I was catfishing myself, and I love that when a foundation does that. I would just say that the biggest drawbacks in this foundation is that I wouldn't recommend building it up. If you build it up, it kind of looks a little bit cakey. Still looks pretty, but it feels like you have 100 pounds of shit on your face. So if you really want that natural skin-like radiance, I don't think you should go ham on this. Just do a little bit goes a long way. And yeah, I'm a fan. I really enjoyed this foundation. So I actually look forward to using it come September because right now I would be a melted fat fucking candle and I don't have time for that. Now I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down below if you guys are interested in picking up this foundation. If you have it, if you hate it, if you love it, let me know because I love hearing from you guys. And yeah, I guess that's about it. On that note, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Discord. On Thursdays, we have a podcast called The Miserable 3. And sometimes I take over my husband's Twitch channel where I just yell about things on the internet. So with that said, I will see you little pumpkins later. Bye.